Okay, now Vivo. Now this is another scenario that I'm talking about that puts us in a predicament of the season with PMC two square distribution centers, and knowing more about the commerce lanes at the time. So it's pretty much knowing about transitions from Detroit to Chicago to Minneapolis to Colorado, Denver, and knowing more about the mid Great Plains, the mid state and Great Plains area of 1761 and 1851 to 1951, and just knowing the distance of the world history at the time. So I was just pretty much working with T-Mobile, and working with AT&T as well, and being able to work with different compassions of portions depending on where you're at and what location you're at. That's pretty much where is working on partnerships with Comcast, with TransUnion, with MoneyGram, with with TransUnion, MoneyGram, and one more other. And that's pretty much where you're using those details as far as knowing them for a certain component of coordinates and locations at the time, as you make more bill statements toward their purchase plans. And as just being able to work with e-statement and working with e-verify as well. So as e-verify, there's MoneyGram, that's e-verify, MoneyGram, and that is T-Mobile. That's pretty much T-Mobile advantage at the time. So it's pretty much where you're not just using only three components. You could be using four components. It don't matter whichever one you want to use. Is pretty much where it gives you a specific point of where you want to be and how you want to incorporate with your bill statement at the time. So that's pretty much how that goes, and it's pretty much what we're considering at the moment. It's pretty much we're using Google Docs, T-Mobile, Comcast, MoneyGram, Jackson Hewitt, PFG, TNI, ABF, and Liberty Mutual at the same time. So it's pretty much where you have your different components that make greater conceptions with their molecules, and being able to add a greater exchange of molecule examples is pretty much where you're using those dictions. And um starting with that, we use more of trans tax. We use more of trans tax to make that a better affiliation. And it's pretty much where you got to do your own 10th grade math to affiliate that good stuff. So I was using Jackson Hewitt banking statements to promote more for the accessibility and the progression of the detail at the time. So it's pretty much where you're using more of 344x of $900, and you doing that like 34 times. So it's not just a one-time thing where you counting $50,000 one time. So that's like counting $50,000 34 times. So that's pretty much where you're getting your 344x coming from as well. That's pretty much where you making that money, as well as you starting a bank account for yourself. So it's pretty much getting a 344x in, and being able to get as much combined like terms as possible. So as being able to know more about the digital age, and knowing more about the progression of how to accept different terms of the factors as though you pay for them. And that's pretty much what you do, as well as making a subtotal for yourself. So, it's pretty much where you make it more toward the trans tax and subtotal, and, making more towards the full payment being paid, as you paid 934 cents toward it for a meal. So, it's pretty much where you're using more of the shrimp based politics at the time. So, that's pretty much where we're using more of Mr. Catfish and more, as you use more of Mr. Catfish's and more shrimp details at the time. So, it's pretty much, how they taste, and, how it lasts in the sensation of, knowing what a shrimp parlor is, or a seafood parlor is, and, what it would be like if you was in, an actual shrimp parlor, or, in a seafood parlor, and, it had those traditions in it, which is giving you a older centric look of a Roman shrimp parlor. So, it's pretty much where you're looking at a urban iconic look of, a city foundation of a shrimp parlor or a seafood parlor at the time. So, it's pretty much where you're using 34 rankings of that 344. So, that's turning that one singular cinnamon roll into 3 express packs. So, that's pretty much what you can do to expand your horizon, as far as boosting it up with 344x credit points at the time. So, that's pretty much where you're using that good stuff. So, it's pretty much as you learning more about your coordinates, or you learning more about your combined like terms, or, you're learning more about your process of elimination. That's pretty much a big thing for 10th graders and 12th graders and sophomore year in college. So, it's pretty much what we all know more about, and, know more about, as in Jackson Hewitt, or Liberty Mutual, Progressive, AARP, USAA, AIG, and, those are just the things that we go through to make it a more official statement for ourselves. So, it's pretty much as you go both ways in and out to promote more for, let's say you got $33.44, and you spent $12. Okay, so, that's pretty much 344x again. If you use that 344x again, you use at least that amount again. You use that 3344 as 1243, which makes it at least, $50 you spent, $13 you spent on subtotal at the time. So, that's pretty much working with at least $5 and $5 as well. And, that's pretty much where you're working with, little iconic specifications like Laffy Taffies or Jolly Ranchers. So, it's just depending on what you buy at the time. Like, this stuff is generally used for the store and the restaurants, and, that good stuff, especially when it's $900 in the range. So, it's pretty much something that Chime PMC 2 Square works with. That's what PMC 2 Square works with. That's what ecourb 747 works with. That's what EcoLeaf and the EcoLeaf mega platforms in the future represent in 2027, 2032, 2042, and 2066. And it's pretty much what we're going to further represent as we represent our native universities in the future. So, it's pretty much where you're using more of coordinates and locations to provide more for a software data upkeep at the time, using AOL, Google Docs, or Outlook, being able to keep the members informed in your associated groups. And, that's just working with suddenlink agriculture and coordinates at the time. So, it's pretty much as you focusing on, more of the prime land care of your residence or of your real estate. That's pretty much where we're going on both sides of the coordinates, so that they can see majority of the city working on their availance, being able to see more structurability from side to side of the city as 2006 start and 2026 begins as well, and as being able to start your first century of a decade in the beginning of the century. So it's pretty much not 1906 but 2006 as well. So that's pretty much as you learn more about New Year's and Thanksgiving and Easter, and knowing about it since 2009 is actually an excellent good choice of knowing what that good stuff could remind you of in the industry. So that's just practicing more of world history and U.S. history at the same time, and being able to get that in passion. So other than that, working with that 1231, that 1243 you was talking about, that's at least $13. So it's pretty much providing you a 344x bonus tax. So you getting what you asked for. That's pretty much where you buying that same thing for $12.43. So that's pretty much where you getting that officiated, as a reference tax. So that's pretty much what you can do as far as being in Enterprise Endoscopes, or you being in Amazon or at Aquatics Division. That's part of the Noble Elite exchange. So as being one of the bar best that you can be at the time. So it's pretty much working with a whole lot of math polynomials. So it's pretty much where you just being able to get privilege based off of benefits that you earn, on PlayStation or in real time. So it's pretty much where you're using that applicability for that under your recreational time. So it's pretty much using at least 46, 56, 17 hours of recreation time that made more decency for at least 48,000 hours of reference at the time. So that's pretty much what we get dealing with 2008 of 2022 at the time. So other than that, you are working with Jackson Hewitt, you working with Google Maps, and you are working with MoneyGram. MoneyGram, Jackson Hewitt, and Google Maps. And those are just the resources that you go to. So those are the main corporate tyrannies that you care for more, as far as knowing more about DWL Industries and knowing about more about DWL and more about his personal information, as far as what he do in his life that that characterizes more for the major effects of the Excel challenge. And that's pretty much where you just working with 46 dimes, 56 dimes, 96 dimes, putting down $36,000 in dimes, and understanding more about that 12.44 cent instead of 3.44 cent, breaking it down when you don't have much to have at the time. So it's pretty much where you getting that $33.49 out of 934 cents. You breaking it down 344x, and it's pretty much where you're using that 344x bonus to promote more for that. So it's pretty much where you're using that for 1980 to 2015, and being able to use it sophomore year in college. that's a big thing. So, it's pretty much using 98,000 toward Chime PMC as you create reference toward bonus benefits. So, that's at least 4.2 million going towards PMC 2 squared of Chime after, it already gains its bank statements. And, it's pretty much saying that the banker is gonna, or the philosopher is gonna pay more to the bank when the check comes. So, that's pretty much being able to add a home deposit for, not just the company, but the evaluation of the philosopher as well. So, it's being able to know more about, the certain predicaments in therein compared to the statistics of the company's charts, and being able to sustain them to their agreeable moods and methods of how to pertain to certain situations and in services at the time. So, it's pretty much where you're using, more toward, Compass Bank or Prosperity Bank, or, in the look of Frost Bank. You're going from Frost Bank to Compass Bank to Prosperity Bank, and that's pretty much where you're using the whole look of 3.3 million in tax deficits coming from True West regions. So, you already looking at tax deficits coming from somewhere if it's coming from Frost. So, it's pretty much looking at tax deficits coming from Frost up to at least $76,456. So, it's pretty much, True West regions, who else is out there? Charles Schwab is out there. Then you got Now Maxwell, Chuck Nash, and Mac Hawk out there. And, that's pretty much where you're looking at the Texas Mutual atmospheres. And, that's pretty much where you're looking at the more detailed look of the city, of its mid-continental palace at the time. So, that's pretty much where you're looking at a whole detail of the similar vocabulary that it's known for at the time. So, it's pretty much looking at 1996 to 2026, looking at the very start of newer pinnacle lifestyles at the beginning of 2026 and 2036 and 2066. So, it's pretty much building a lifestyle on Liberty Mutual and, being able to pay it $671 a month for at least 12 to 24 months, a year. So, it's pretty much where you're using more towards your $60 million rate of having after you gain at least $6,000 of reference at the time. So, that's pretty much, what I think is a positive investment for Liberty Mutual at that time as they take a premium offer. So, that's pretty much a cool deal.